Guys, what's going on? And welcome back to another episode of the Siobhan Speak Social Podcast. What is going on with my necklace? I swear. Every time I think I'm ready to go, I'm not. All right, we're back on. All right, so this is week 2 of the It's a Scam series, or not even week 2, because I did the first episode 2 days ago. This is episode 2 of the It's a Scam series, and we're talking about the MLMs and the coaching spaces. And before I even say anything, I want to say I don't think that coaching is a scam. Hello, hi, I'm a coach. Like that's not what I'm trying to communicate here. What I do want to highlight though is the tendency, the overabundance of opportunists in spaces and them just taking over and using people's vulnerability. And that's what this whole series is about. That's what scams are about. And so I don't think that coaching is a scam. I think that those in our spaces that have taken advantage of people, they're the problem. And I want to share some of my personal experiences and highlight them because it's not coming from a place of like hate. It's more of a place of calling people forward. Like I talk a lot about the church on here. And if you've listened to me for a while, you know that it's not that I think church in and of itself is a bad thing. I know that it does great things for people in the community. I was blessed because of the church. I was helped so much as a member of church, like as a single mom. Like provided community for me, and it provided a lot of affirmation. It provided structure. It taught me how to be a good leader, even though my leaders aren't always practicing what they preached. So it's not that I'm here to condemn the establishment so much. In fact, I think that they're great. And so it is why I have such passion and such conviction about these things. And when it comes to coaching, oh my God. I was I was so frustrated in 2023 that I went on this whole I'm not a coach campaign and like took coach out of my bio and was really uncertain about how I wanted to present myself online because, and not to deviate too much off of the topic, but just to provide some more context. When it comes to what women like myself do, because I am a personal trainer and I do nutrition, but a lot of the work those are tools. Those are the tools that I use to coach. And what I'm doing at its core is a holistic helping women self-actualize. It's having that inner transformation so that the inside can match the outside, is what a lot of women say. And so stuff like this is, como se dice, intangible in a lot of ways. And so I start to think about the women of the past and women just even of now, but especially back in, let's say, like indigenous cultures where women were not shunned, but women were honored. The healers, right? The sage, the prophetesses, the you know what I'm trying to say, the females that prophesized, and how we were honored and how we were revered. But in another way, as generations have passed and things have come on, like things have changed, there wasn't always a name for that kind of woman, like the medicine woman and the wise woman, if you will, of the community. So in a sense, I didn't like the coach label because I felt like it was putting what I did in a box. And at that time, I sounded crazy because I was the only one talking like that, because that really did not help my business with people not knowing exactly what I offered. But I needed to go through that cleanse so that I could understand exactly what it is that I offered, and so that I could stand out amongst all the opportunists in the space and stand out as a true coach, but a true coach that's multifaceted. So again, I love the coaching with a passion. I love the ability of being able to help someone and just be able to play a role in helping someone take themselves to the next level, whether it's in fitness, whether it's in their mindset or their finances. This is how we grow. This is the stuff that communities are made of, pouring into one another. Iron sharpens iron. um, there's so many reasons why I believe in it. And as a former minister, it was a way for me to do that, right, without being attached to the church. So I can't emphasize enough how much I do love that space, but my heart breaks and it frustrates me no end to see what it's become. So let's dive into some of those scams. Now, and I also want to clarify that I don't think that everyone that was a part of these scams is intentional in their efforts, because what's the like the victim abuse cycle, like a lot of people don't realize that they're being scammed or that it's happening to them. And what I've noticed the most is that they tend to target certain demographics of people, not always a racial, but demographics of people, the same way that Trump says he loves the poorly educated. I've noticed that a lot of these MLMs tend to operate on those same rules. So the first thing that comes to mind, I have plenty of my own MLM stories, but the first thing that comes to mind as I said that was the most recent one that I almost got suckered into. Or that I like to give things a chance. It's not that I got suckered into it. It's like Okay, let's just see what this is about because they got a point. Let me just hear them out. I'm an entrepreneur. I like to have multiple streams of income. Let's see what they have going on. And this one was the was it Amway? Kind of life insurance thing was this? I swear. Come on, hold on. I can't think of it, but it was something with David. Patrick Bet David. And this dude that I used to serve with when I was waiting tables, we worked together on the border at the airport. And I can remember this dude. I don't know if he meant it. He meant it to be offensive as like a backhanded. I don't even know what his intention was, but he called me a walking stereotype. And I don't know if that was supposed to boost me or put me down, but either way, it was inappropriate. I was laughed at. I was made uncomfortable. And I really didn't appreciate that comment. Whatever his intention was, it wasn't delivered well and it wasn't received well. Well, lo and behold, and he did it with like this other young gentleman. They both like one of them had dreads, one of them was bald. I'm just trying to help you paint them. And they were like frat brother type energy. And I guess someone like me was, not up to their standards. And statements like that really, really, really stuck with me. But anywho, let's hold on to that thought. Flash forward to where we're at now in life. I run into this dude and he's sweating his ass off. like because it's Florida, so it's hot. So that's not what's so funny. What's funny is that like he invited me to this MLM thing, and I just remember thinking when I was waiting tables and I was in college, and I'm a single mom, so I'm a walking stereotype to you, and I was trying to make something of myself. You called me a stereotype, and here you are at this place where. Oh, well, let's just talk about the place. So this place, this life insurance place that he invited me to, this I guess like an open house, like churches do it, like the Compel nights, right? I arrive here with my homegirl who I invited, and I'm in, like they have like some water and they have snacks and they have treats, but they have very limited water, snacks, and treats that never got replenished. Okay, no worries. When we're done waiting in this awkward room with not enough snacks and treats to replenish us, they take us into another room where it's high energy and the music's bumping and like they're all celebrating us as we walk in and we're all like pretending to be happy in this place where they bunched us in with a bunch of people that we don't know while all this team of people who have already gone through this process are there trying to hype us up. We're all just standing there like this and they're all like, yeah, yeah, dance to this song, even if it's isn't the kind of music that you listen to. Like, why am I like? It was interesting, but again, I'm open to all new things, so I went and I'm playing along with it. And long story short, we all end up in this small room, probably no bigger than slightly bigger than my bedroom, and there's rows and rows and rows of chairs. And we've got this slick dressed, short little white dude that walks up to the front of the room, and he is slick dressed, like, and his little ankles are showing, and he's got the little dressy shoes. You know what I'm talking about? You know those guys. And he's fast talking, and he's like over here, like saying catchphrases that people that don't maybe not super educated would be wooed and wowed by. And I'm just sitting here like, hmm. And he's saying stuff, he's giving facts that I believe are true, but that I also wanted to Google check. And he was anticipating that. So he did tell us, he's like, go ahead and Google this. Go ahead and Google this. The number one industry that creates millionaires, life insurance, life insurance. And so we're all Googling it and it's true. And so I'm like, in my head, I'm like, he seems very salesy and very like a politician. So like, what's the catch? And then they start talking about the CEO of the company. And this is where Patrick Bet David comes in. And the dude feels, looks, and I can't smell him, but if I could smell him, I would say that he looked like a douche. Like I would know that off rip. And he comes on and he's like, I throw all these parties for my people and I fly people out here and we do this and we do events and we do that and money, 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 money. And all my people and my team make money, money, money. And I'm watching this and at this point in my life, I'm done with the coaching space. Like this was the last time that I can see myself getting suckered into anyone's organization for a long time. If you know my story, you know what I'm talking about between church, which is, that's what the series is all about. Should be called scam/cults. But anywho, so I'm here and I'm in this room and he's showing us either videos about Patrick Bet David. Yeah, he's showing us videos and it's giving like DJ Khaled vibes. And I'm just like, what the hell is going on? But everybody's eating it up except for the dude sitting next to me. The dude sitting next to me was not eating it up. The dude sitting next to me was questioning everything. And he's like, oh, yeah, so I can make this much, and I can make this much, this much. And he wasn't being disrespectful. It's just that the dude, the way he was talking at us was like, I'm up here, you guys are down here. And if you ever want to get up here, you got to do it the way I do it. And I'm just sitting here like, oh my God. This is everything and everyone that I have ever sat through, especially when it's a male, when it comes to trying to get me on board with whatever their fucking business scheme, MLM, blah, is, right? There's a formula to this shit. There's indeed a formula to this shit. But anywho, back to the story. So dude asked questions, and immediately, because the dude dared ask questions, he starts shooting him down and shooting him down. And like, I will say this, there's two sides to this because I'm having a self-reflection moment here about a recent event that happened on the Tickety Talk, but let's continue. Everything needs to be done on a case by case manner sometimes. Anywho, so dude asked a question, and I think because his pride and his ego was hurt, which may have been what I was going through, but we'll carry on. Um, he starts to like attack the dude's character, and he's like, "Well, what do you do for a living?" And he's like, "Well, I'm a bartender." And he's like, "Well, you've never even seen the amount of money that I've seen. So how does that even matter?" And blah blah blah. Or like, how do you even, like you're basically his opinion doesn't matter because he's never gonna make as much money as him. And here is where the two sides to every coin comes up. This is somewhat true. Someone, not always, that's what I said, someone who's never been able to not just be like financially stable, but rise above their income level, because the fact of the matter is most of us are going to be born and die in the same tax bracket. That's just statistically true. And so this dude who has either been born into wealth or has learned how to accumulate wealth, he's not wrong when he says this dude does not really know what he's talking about. This is true. And the dude's suspicions of this hotshot dude are also true. It's just that he was saying, like, basically, this is impossible to do. It wasn't impossible for the man, like, what he's saying, like, is true. This industry does create millionaires. What most people fail to understand is that that dude, he also said he'd been doing it for 14 years. He had been in this game for 14 years. This is the part that most people, this is where it becomes scammy, or at least preying on people's desperate desires. Everyone in that room, including the bartender sitting next to me, came to that event, that free event, drove there with their gas money, got all dressed up because they thought they're going to a real job opportunity or something, um, and a chance to make money for their family and get them out of poverty, not in 10 years, but today. And instead, these people kind of sell them on like the rare stories, the rare chances where you can pop off and make that kind of money tomorrow. And in the entrepreneur space, this is common. That's how we operate because it's everything is a risk factor. But what is not always communicated to people, especially those of us that don't have experience in those sectors, is that you need to have a strong foundation to start with in order to devote the time and energy that it takes to grow your business and your clientele, to get there. And you also need some financial literacy. Like there's so many moving parts to this. And the thing is, they'll provide these sort of things for you. They will, just for a small fee, which is like a lot of your time and buying into the culture, and almost like a church and like religion where it becomes your life, because you do have to work on this skill. You have to be there day and night. You have to, not day and night every day, but you have to be there pretty consistent. And again, I'm not knocking that. What I am knocking is that this thing only works if you get more people to come in behind you, because until then you're struggling to get people to buy life insurance policies. Now, while life insurance policies do, like, I want to look up some stats real quick. Let me go ahead and see this. Well, life insurance policies are legit, and it's something that I feel especially Black Americans do need to invest in. The rate at, it's almost like, I want to see like what the demographics are before I make this bold statement. Let's see. I should have had this pulled up. Excuse me, I just had a burp. Da-da-da-da-da. So, who buys life insurance policies? We got caregivers, we got homeowners, married couples, business owners, entrepreneurs, people with co-signed debt, people planning for wealth transfer. Da-da-da. Short people with debt assets people with debt or assets, they care about life insurance. They use it and to avoid taxes. This is let's see. All right. Because the point that I wanted to make, and I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't just coming Age groups 35 to 55, parents in their 20s and 30s, people over 55. Least likely to buy, people 18 to 29, low income young adults. Okay. Higher income. All right. Ah! Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. So it says when it comes to income levels, the people that buy life insurance generally buy term or whole. They use insurance for tax planning and for generational wealth, which is why I feel, especially like I said, Black Americans need to be buying it more. Middle income families, we're talking 40K to 100K. They buy it for income protection and often tied to their mortgage or their children. And then finally, we have low income families, those that make under 40K. They buy it for burial and final expense, burial, and it says final expense, whatever. But they get targeted by predatory insurance agents. Um, when it comes to race and ethnicity, white Americans are the most insured overall and most likely to buy. And Black Americans anticipate or participation in small value policies historically targeted by predatory burial and lodge society policies, increasing interest in term life for generational wealth, least access to employer provided coverage. Okay. Hispanic and Latino communities, most underinsured overall, growing awareness, but cost and mistrust of financial institutions are barriers. And then when it comes to Asian Americans, there's a higher participation in life insurance, specifically whole life, and it's often used for wealth transfer. Then it goes into the demographics of education levels, this is that. The reason why I wanted to highlight the type of people that buy life insurance is because when it comes to sales, and this is, ooh, I hope my brain can tie these all in. When it comes to sales, uh, you have to be really good at sales to sell to people outside of your demographics, especially when it comes to my young Black males. Like, and this is not to like to deter them or whatever, but as a Black service provider, I know that because of like media bias, people don't mean to, but there's a what's the word I'm looking for? Unintentional. Um, Hold on, let me take a sip of water. Unconscious bias when it comes to people that they deem as trustworthy when it comes to money and investing. And then sometimes it's not even unconscious. Sometimes it's very conscious bias that people have when they're deciding who they want to invest in. What I'm basically trying to say is that when they're targeting these young Hispanic and Black males to sell life insurance, they need to keep in mind, number one, the people that they have access to. Because when you start these sort of MLMs, the first thing they're going to do is have you make a list of all the people that you know so that you can hit them up first. And if your circle of people, your family and your friends, right, are not high income individual or high income or high net worth individuals or people that are planning for the future or people that are thriving, right? If the people around you are not thriving and they're surviving, and the first way that you're going to start getting sales is by hitting those people up around you and they don't have any money, it can be very discouraging. It can seem like a waste of time. And in a sense, it can be. So what I had experienced and what I talked about before when I was doing mindset coaching for other fitness coaches, right? Like I worked in another, again, it sounds like a stacked up thing, right? Head coach here, she's a business coach for other online fitness coaches. And I'm the mindset coach that helps these people kind of understand the disconnect. And the people that had the most disconnect were people that look like me, because again they face that same issue where they're like, I'm supposed to sell online, but like my I don't have a new camera, I don't have this, like my content doesn't look as fresh. And it's kind of the same issues that I face as an entrepreneur, as a not so much now, but like you don't have as much access to capital so that your marketing looks as great as others. You don't have as much to invest in these ads and these marketing, so you're just you don't, and then you don't have access again to these high net worth individuals and friends that will invest in you so that you can have them. So you're already at a disadvantage when it comes to trying to sell stuff. Um, and I could just see how discouraging that is. So that was one part, right? The fact that these people don't have people to sell to. Then we have the other layer, which is the fact that the unconscious bias of people who, I'm not saying no one's going to buy insurance from them. Obviously, it will. But when it comes to dude that looks like me selling insurance with dreads versus the other dude who doesn't have dreads, is pale, fair skin and whatever, whatever, like most people will unconsciously gravitate towards that person. So it's not that it's impossible for them, it's just harder. And that's just what it is. And that's kind of, that's a universal experience as a Black American as a whole. But these MLMs tend to specifically prey on us. us. So that's what makes it the problem. That's what makes it the scam, is that they know people in certain demographics and socioeconomic patterns and different race and ethnicities need jobs or are looking and desperate looking for income. And so they get to have them working and selling these policies that they know are probably people cancel. That's another thing. The people that they are selling to in their inner circles don't always keep the policies. And I'm guilty because when I was younger and I was struggling financially, I canceled on things that I signed up for people. And it's like, this is how this is part of the struggle. These aren't like, can they become millionaires and can they do this? Yes, yes. But there's too many men that I know, black men that I know, that started these types of MLMs and didn't get anywhere. They haven't made it yet. And again, this will take years. But I think a better use of their time would not be an MLM coaching, or not MLM coaching, but the MLMs like life insurance and what have you. But I think that they're great as an additional, like a supplement to your income, but I don't think that it needs to be your whole source of income. So for me, that was the first MLM scam that came to mind when it comes to the coaching industry. On my own, the things that I have experienced in different spaces, I can remember I remember one of my the very first coach that I hired, because I've hired so many, because I thought something was wrong with me, because I was like, these people said that I should get, if I do A, B, C, and D, I will have E, F, G, and this has not happened. So something must be wrong with me. Like the math wasn't mathing. So I just kept, and you're told to invest in your business, invest in your business. I didn't know what investing in my business looked like. I now know that means marketing and ads and systems and tech stacks. But back then I thought it meant to have a coach and have a mentor and tell me how to do it. And I just kept finding that these people kept saying the same exact thing. Okay. First of all, a lot of these business coaches online do not provide the framework for an actual business. I would appreciate it if they marketed themselves. I know the title, like you got to have a search worthy, search friendly title, but it would be really cool if they marketed themselves as like a mentor or like an online social strategist or something. Because when it comes to like an actual business, it's not, they don't teach business, because a lot of them don't know how to run a business besides their online business. And the only reason why they know how to run an online business is because they were an online fitness coach and got some success. Now, I don't see a problem with that. I don't think that that's scammy. What I do think is scammy is when you make your first 10K as a coach and then months later decide that you're going to now teach other coaches how to make their first 10K without first having been sustained that for a period of time. And what do I mean? I was working for a business coach who she's getting ready to go like high level and go like to the moon and back with her business, and she invited a bunch of us former clients and those that had worked for her back to look at her numbers and to like basically hear her pitch or like where she was going and this and that. And I can remember thinking to myself, well, I don't want to be a part of this. This is why I kind of like parted ways with you in the first place, but that's a whole nother story. Love this for you. But then she showed her payment, like her income, I'm talking about, chart graph bar. And I saw the month that I paid her in full, 5K. And that was the month that she had her first 10K month. And it was like I hired her in, was it the, yeah, it was that August, right? So I hired her August 2025. When I came back to work as a coach, like she was a business coach already at that point. When I came back to like work with her like a year later or whatever, um hold on, I want to organize my thoughts. My point is, I saw that her first 10K month was because of me. And because the price of her program is so expensive, um, not expensive, but because the price point for her program is what it is, showing us that her first 10K, like, I'm trying to contextualize this. It would be like if she was showing us her first 100K month, but her average coaching package was 50K. You see what I'm saying? Like it sounds less impressive when you know it like that. Because, and what the problem here is that her business coaching model, slogan, whatever, was about to be, I show you how to make your first 10K. And I'm like, well, you didn't even make it until till me. Like her, I when I was working with her, her slogan was "I help you make your first 5K," which I think was appropriate. But she hadn't made more than that. And you see what I'm saying? I'm like, there was a misalignment there, which brings me to the next topic of why it's a scam. People were learning stuff, one or the same topic to add on the point too, is that people are coaching on stuff that they hadn't yet mastered yet or had embodied. And as someone that was online, I also fell into this trap as well. This is why I can speak from experience. I would hear something super motivating from like Tony Robbins or from one of these motivational people that had flooded the interwebs during the pandemic and during post-pandemic days. I would hear this and I would be so fired up about it that I would hop on my podcast immediately and I would start talking and preaching and doing all this because I'm high on life and high on dopamine and my business is so, like I have all this like motivation and energy, and I hadn't yet embodied those principles. I had, what's the phrase? Knowledge is of the mind, experiences for the body. I had the knowledge of these things, but I had yet to experience them, aka embody them. So there was a reason of all the reasons why I came to a like a halting stop in 2023 with coaching. One, I didn't want to be associated with the opportunists, and two, because I saw myself becoming like the opportunists who were like, hey, is this going to make me money? Well, I'm going to say it. And it wasn't that I was saying anything I didn't believe in. It wasn't saying anything. I wasn't trying to get people to take out a loan, which that woman who I just talked about, like she had me take up. She talked me into taking out a PayPal loan to do that so that she could hit her first record month. And if you're a capitalist, you don't see anything wrong with that because you're like, well, that's what we do. That's how we make money. But for me, I think that that is predatory. I think it's disingenuous. And as a fellow female and as someone who's supposed to be talking about like, divine feminine energy, like don't talk about divine feminine energy if you're not talking about divine, like collective feminine empowerment. And to me, feminine empowerment does not look like having another female trap herself into something that could possibly be more debt. And I understand that she was coming of the persuasion and the idea and the thought process that me investing this in my business, I'm going to make that back like she did. However, the fact that she had only just barely hit those numbers herself, this is why it becomes predatory. This is why it becomes predatory. This is what when it becomes scammy to me. This is when it becomes disingenuous. And as someone that she does now, I don't know if she did so much then, but as someone that like literally taught me manifestation, and you can liken that to like a pastor, like a spiritual leader. She was not just a business coach, but she was a spiritual leader. But regardless, you can take the spiritual aspect of it. When you are a leader, that's what most of my books back there are on. When you are a leader, you have a responsibility to those that you lead. You have a responsibility to be genuine, not disingenuine. And when it comes to MLMs, they have just been disingenuine. Another one that comes to mind is one of my other experiences was Beachbody. With Beachbody, I can remember Beachbody, I had started working out for a little bit, or maybe I was posting. I don't know what I was doing, but I was showing up on Facebook with more energy and yada yada. Oh, I had just started my health coaching certification. And so they would have weekly challenges and posts that I needed to make to like get out of my comfort zone and say things that I wasn't used to saying. So I started doing that. And I guess I was on the radar of someone who was a Beachbody coach. And they're like, hey, do you want to join my thing? Da da da, be a Beachbody coach. And in my head, I'm like, well, I'm not really a coach yet. But and they're like, no, that's okay. You don't need that. Just come here and be under me in my MLM because then I make money. And then you just need to be the coach that sells this $100 Shakeology powder to people. And then you don't have to worry about fitness coaching, but you're the coach. But just get them to buy videos again, buy the Shakeology, get them to buy the videos, and then boom. And then you get somebody else like you to do this, and oh my gosh, you all make money. And I understand, like historically, like I understand that these are ways that could help women out of poverty and give them financial freedom, like Avon and Mary Kay. Like there are some really good, sturdy, foundational, like they that are of substance, that are truly of substance. But this is where Beachbody becomes a scam. I was also studying nutrition like for real, like or had already taken a nutrition course when I graduated with my AA before I got my bachelor's. After I had my kid, I had a choice for my electives. I took the gym class so I could learn how to work out, and then I took a nutrition course. So I had already started to get the baseline understanding of how food nutrition works. So when I joined this thing and they had me using the colored Tupperwares, the thing that I liked about it was that I could like it taught me portion control. And that like The $100 shake, I stopped ordering it like a month or two into my coaching because I was like, well, this isn't, I don't, this is expensive. And if I just need other people to buy it there, I bought it once. I'm not selling something I've never tried. Boom. I'm in alignment. I'm not being disingenuous. But what I noticed was that I started getting results, not because of the videos that we sent, not because of not because of the shake that I was no longer drinking, but because of the little portion controls. And so I was like, no, wait a minute. Wait a god darn minute. You guys are teaching portion control, which is what people need to learn, but you're attaching it to a product that is some BS. The superfoods smoothie that was $100 a month is supposed to be full of superfruits. And because I had studied nutrition, I was like, now what the fuck does a superfruit have to do with weight loss? It doesn't. So people don't need this shit. What they basically was selling was the accountability, and a product that didn't work. So I understand as a fitness coach that nobody wants to hear that you do need to do portion control and you need to work out. Like that's a hard, unsexy sell. You have to have a way to make it sexy. I get it. I get it. What I don't understand is why you have to sell them something that is shitty, that they don't even need. They could at least communicate like, hey, you don't need this, but it will, again, superfoods aren't really even something. You know what? Let me stop. Let me make sure I'm not making false claims. I wanna superfoods. Ah, my light almost fell. Superfoods, are they worth it? I don't think they are. From what my brain recollects, I don't think they are. Yes, it's mostly a marketing game with a sprinkle of nutritional truth. Let's hear the sprinkle. The truth. Superfood isn't a scientific term. Let's start there. It's a marketing label slapped on foods that already existed, already had benefits. We've already been eating that were already eaten by indigenous communities long before Whole Foods turned them into $18 bags. Nutrition didn't change, their PR did. Common superfoods that you're probably already eating or that you can eat in your regular diet: blueberries, salmon, kale, chia seeds, turmeric, avocado, matcha, and ginger. But the catch, right? Is that there's a lot of these are affordable foods: black beans, oats, sweet potatoes. Like these are superfoods, but people don't care to market them. What they did was put something in the bag and convince people. They connected these ingredients that we don't normally get. I'm trying to think of like what are the superfoods? Like what? Chia seeds, turmeric, berries, leafy greens, they're not required. They're overhyped truths. And so when I caught game, like I peep game, I was like, these superfoods are superfoods, like it's not integral to the weight loss process. I can't sell this. And so at this point, what I'm basically is selling is these Sean T home workouts or insanity workouts, which I'm also not a big fan of because now I'm actually lifting in the gym. And I think that's a great start, but I don't think it's like it just I had to back away because none of it was making sense. None of it was in alignment. Boom. Then now at this point, Herbalife is blowing up. We're in the pandemic and I'm getting recruited by them like left and right. Like I'm a new trainer. I'm in between clients. I'm on the phone with people hitting me up like, hey girl, we saw your Instagram. Da da da. You'd be great for this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this sounds great. And then I get on the phone with them and it's always a Herbalife someone. They're like, oh, well, let me get you on the phone with my heads. And because I said I didn't want to buy into it. And then their head gets on the phone and start trying to like pressure me. And I'm like, what are you doing? I don't want this. Like, this is not like, what are you guys talking about? Anytime you feel high pressure or someone says you got to do this or like this is the only way, dude, that was I escaped Herbalife. What's the next one? Arbonne. Arbonne almost got me to join their thing with their little packets, this and that. And I started drinking those because I like the little fizz things, but I was like, yeah, no, I'm not selling this either. Then also isotonics came. Got on the phone with the girl at the isotonics, and I remember her getting an attitude with me because she didn't close me on this Zoom chat. And I'm thinking, what is wrong with these people? Because you didn't close this sale, you're mad at me. And then I go look at the price of the products. And same with Herbalife. Herbalife is actual trash, right? Like the macros portions that clients would send me screenshots of, like I'm eating this shit. It's not real. It's so not really that people have had to open up little stores all over the town where I live with selling Herbalife products. Like it says Orlando Nutrition, Winter Springs Nutrition, all these little nutrition places because their shakes, again, are their superfoods, like they don't sell. So they have to make these little nutrition shake stops where people can come and they can buy where they're buying the shakes and that's pretty much it. But they dress them up really nice and really pretty, but nobody wants to buy that shit because it's not necessary. It's overpriced. It's a scam. Those are the wellness ones. What other coaching stuff? I remember one time where I was like at my wits end in my business right before I was about to cave, and I was out of alignment because I didn't want to participate in the coaching shit that I've explained. and like the high ticket sales and the no access to you, because the deeper I got in the online coaching space, the more people got a little cuckoo for fucking Cocoa Puffs. People were charging like $800 for an hour long phone call. They were setting up containers that were like 10K for 6 months. And I'm like, but what are y'all even providing? Like, you're not, like, it was just people are getting beside themselves in the online coaching space. And I had one dude that was about to try to sell me on his coaching program because it was going to be the thing. He's like, you're right there on the verge. I can feel it. I can feel it. And his eyes looked so like they were mesmerizing. And I could see he was trying to like almost hypnotize me into saying yes. And I was this close. And something was like, do not give this man your money. Do not give this man your money. And I if he was going to do that to me after hearing my situation and what I was going through that time, and in his mind, he was like, this is still a good idea. I hear what this woman's going through mentally, emotionally, and financially, and I still think that she should take out a loan to be a part of my program for $5,000 so that, I can take her to the next level. Whether he truly believed that, it's a little narcissistic, or whether he was just doing it to close a sale. It's super scammy. It's disgusting. And I can't believe that we live like this is the day and age that we're in, where people will put another human into debt just so that they can ball out and not care, knowing how much debt can ruin people's livelihood and keep them trapped. So those are just a few of my experiences in the online coaching space or the MLM space, and just seeing how predatory these spaces can be. Everything from high pressure sales, everything from trying to get people to take out credit cards, everything from just the most dehumanizing tactics, all for what? For capitalism, to make a dollar. And that's just something I could not align with. So that is why I quit calling myself a coach. And that's why I had to take a while, realign, rebrand, and really get serious about the mission statement that I have and my commitment to not just treating people like a packet, not pack and play, but like package and go, like an assembly line, like boom, 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 boom. Like that's never been who I am. But in order to make money quickly, that's kind of what you have to do. And that's why MLMs and things like this are successful, because they dehumanize you in the process. They treat you like a means to an end. I need more people in my upline or whatever. And that's something that has never been aligned with me. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. This was a long one. I didn't expect it to be this long, and it definitely took me a while to get worked up, but thank you for being here with me. Catch me on the next episode of It's a Scam. We're going to be diving into the actual gym spaces. I wanted to save a special place for this one, because that one obviously, like, they all hit close to home, but the gym space is one that is just like, what's the word I'm looking for? I think it's going to be a little more personal for people, because a lot of you guys understand what it's like. Like, the reason why I became a trainer is because I wanted gyms to be safer spaces, and I never realized how much it affected the livelihood, if you will, of a lot of people. How people's health and fitness, it's such an integral part of the vitality of your life, and the fact that people would capitalize that and be gatekeepers of, or be a hindrance to people getting health, it's disgusting, it's scammy, and I hate it. So stick around for the next episode. It's going to be Jim, the fitness industry scam, crunch culture, or the cult of crunch, toxic trainers, hidden fees, and false senses of community. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time on Siobhan Speaks Social.